Welcome back, my friends, to the show that never ends. We're so glad you could attend. Come inside, come inside.
At crisisbusiness.com. Thanks so much for Chris Kelso, guest hosting while I continue to work on my project that is going quite masterfully, if I say so humbly. We're really excited about it, and we'll be talking more about it as we get closer to it. But I cannot not be in for an opportunity to visit with my good friend Walter Rogers with Baker Communications. And Walter, you are beginning today a great new series. Welcome to the program.
Walter, I'm sorry about that. I think we're having some communication difficulty here. This is Chris Kelso. I think, unfortunately, Kevin was going to be interviewing right now, but just got cut off.
Oh, terrific. Well, I'm here, and I'm happy to speak with you.
Sounds good. Let us know about who you are and what you do.
Well, today we're going to be launching our new series, Chris. And as you know, we've been running 5 or 6 series now over the last year and a half, and the one we're launching now is all going to be focused on maximizing your personal productivity. And we're going to have 6 shows on that. And you know, it's amazing how few people really focus and spend any time trying to improve how they can be much more effective in how they manage their time, right? They just bumble their way through the day, hoping to get everything accomplished that they are supposed to get accomplished, and more than likely they, you know, wrap up the end of the day, they feel like they've gotten a lot done. They were probably really busy, but they didn't tackle those items that are most important to them. And in fact, you may or may not know this, but each week, your typical executive is going to get about 500 emails, 200 phone calls, and attend over 20 meetings and conference calls.
Wow.
And in between all of that activity, they're expected to actually do some work. So being hyper-focused on making sure that you're only working on those things that are most relevant to you and your business is more important now than it ever has been, especially as we all get over-indexed with information from lots of directions.
I can imagine. You know, I've been in sales going on 15 years now, and you know, you mentioned time management. It's probably one of the most challenging aspects of my business on a day-to-day basis, because you're mentioning right there, I think social media, I think the amount of emails and texting that we all do on a day-to-day basis has really changed the dynamics of how we do business.
It's completely changed it, and it's much easier for people to get distracted. And distraction is simply an obstacle towards productivity. So we're going to take the next 6 shows and really talk about, you know, some very specific techniques that, you know, all the listeners can apply right away to help themselves make themselves more productive. And these are all things, by the way, that I've been studying for years and have personally seen them make a substantial difference in my own productivity. So why don't we jump right in? There are 4 that I want to talk about today. The first one is the importance of setting up weekly focus meetings. So it's very common for anybody to get interrupted throughout the day nonstop with this request or that request, and typically their requests are repetitive from the same people. The best way to manage that is to set up a 1-hour-long focus meeting every single week on those areas that have the greatest amount of impact on your business. So those might be things like finance, marketing, sales, customer service, special projects, things like that. And then to ensure that during those weekly meetings, you have all the participants required to make whatever decisions are needed to make small incremental change each and every week. So step number 1, figure out what those focus areas are that are important to you and your business. Set those meetings up and be religious about attending those meetings and ensuring that those individuals that need to be a part of those meetings are there so you can make quick decisions and move on. And you can hold all the miscellaneous questions and noise that come up during the course of the week to those meetings. That in and of itself will free up a massive amount of time off of your schedule. And it's something that most people do not do.
Hey, Walter, it's Kevin here, and we had a technical problem there. I apologize. What I'd like you to do first, if you could, is hit all of the points because of time, and then let's go back and do a more thorough inventory of each one. I want to make sure the audience gets all of them.
Yeah, you bet. So the weekly focus meeting is the first one. The next one is creating a list of top 3 to 5 items each day. The third item is emptying your inbox end of day and first thing in the AM, and the fourth thing is getting a planner. So those are the 4 things that we're going to cover, and we just talked about the weekly focus meetings.
Awesome, awesome. You know what I love about each of those items is that those things often become rabbits that we can spend hours chasing. I think of email in particular, when it really just needs to be a more efficient mechanism. And if people think that you're going to respond immediately to your email, you better help the people that you either work with or in your life be retrained. Your thoughts?
Yeah, absolutely. And email is probably the single most destructive time management element that's in all of our lives. It has been completely abused. And one of the ways to actually make sure that you don't get sucked into the email trap is my second tip of the day, which is start your day every day with the list of 3 to 5 things that you're going to get accomplished that day. It's going to force you to actually prioritize your work around those things that are most important, and then schedule time very specifically to get those 3 to 5 things done. And if you manage your day against that list of top 3 to 5, and don't allow email to interrupt the activity associated with completing those top 3 to 5, you're going to find that you're going to get much more done because you're focused on those high-priority projects that you need to tackle, while email is just kind of humming in the background because there's no need to respond to email right when it comes in. In most cases, you can respond to it at specific intervals throughout the day.
Awesome. And so you got to make sure that whatever it is that comes along that's interesting doesn't get in the way of what's most important, or you're going to suffer for it in the end.
Yeah, exactly. And what I'm sharing here, there's no rocket science behind any of this, right? They're very, very basic principles that anybody can implement immediately, literally today. But the trick to doing it is to actually physically getting into the habit of practicing these skills. And my best recommendation to do that is, I know a lot of people use Outlook or Google Calendars and any number of digital tools or BlackBerry, etc. But there's something magical about holding a pen and writing down on a pad the top 3 to 5 things that you're going to get accomplished that day. So the next recommendation is go out and get yourself, I'm going to say it, a physical planner. Physical planner, And you're not going to use this to schedule your meetings. You're not going to use this to do anything other than write down the top 3 to 5 things you're going to get accomplished that day. Physically write them down with a pen, and then as you get them done over the course of the day, you cross those out. Now, I use Outlook all the time, so I'm not certainly advocating for replacement of Outlook, but this to get into the physical habit of doing this, you're going to have to do some different things. So write those things down.
Okay, we got about a minute left. Go ahead and kind of wrap up the other, highlights, if you will.
Yep, I'll wrap up the final one, which is all about email. So it's really difficult for people to manage email because they end up scanning up and down their email all day long, and so they waste half of their day just looking at emails over and over and over again. So the best practice is this. At the end of the day, respond to all your emails. Go home or finish your day with as little email as your inbox as possible. Things are going to come in overnight. Start your morning. First thing you're going to do after you make your list of top 3 to 5 is respond to all your emails so that you start the day fresh. So close it out at the end of the day and clear it out again at the beginning of the morning. Those 4 things alone will drastically change your productivity.
And you'll sleep better and perform better each day if you do that type of thing.
Yep, absolutely, because your mind won't have to worry about what it is you're supposed to be doing.
Awesome stuff, as always, very practical. Kind of give us a real quick preview with a few seconds left of what's next week.
Next week we're going to talk about how to stop multitasking. Then we're going to talk about managing how to manage deadlines a week after that. Then June 15th, talk about is everything really worth doing?
There's the music, my friend. Walter Rogers, BakerCommunications.com. You're awesome.
Yep, thanks, Kevin. Appreciate it.
Chris Kelso, he's coming up next, and more right here on Talk 650, powered by CBS Radio.